The next one we're going to look at is something more art house. And again, I'm afraid I haven't seen this, and I don't think you've seen it either, Scott. We're I
haven't seen this one.
Two spare parts at the end of this this disco here. And this is a film called War Pony. Andy, do you want to introduce War Pony to us? And the clip?
Drugs, poverty and deprivation on an Indian reservation. Here's a clip.
I heard you got an expensive new dog and a fancy job.
You mad at me?
No, I don't expect much from you.
Don't bring no drama into my TV, okay?
What's up?
War Pony. It does look a bit art house. Emma, did this float your boat?
Yes and no. There's definitely potential in it. Basically, we've got a young boy and a lad in his 20s, I would guess, and their two storylines go throughout the film independently. Either one on their own, I think, would have made a great film. Mixing them together didn't really work for me because I think you missed the opportunity to really develop any of the little bits that were happening. Bill, who was the older lad, I think his story was the one that got me, and actually, although there were enjoyable things throughout the film, it really, the last, say, 10 to 15 minutes of the film were the best, and I was really engaged during that, but obviously I spent a lot of time not being engaged, which wasn't great. So yeah, I think enjoyable, but a tricky watch for me just because of the way it was built.
How long was the film?
Hour and 50, I think.
Yeah, it was very close to the 2 hours. I did check my watch thinking, I must have half an hour left now. And I actually miscalculated, so I was very annoyed when I discovered I had an hour left.
Okay, so it was a film that dragged. Andy, would you agree?
Absolutely agree with Emma. I think that you've got these two boys, as she said, living on an Indian reservation, selling drugs, getting up to mischief, getting in and out of jobs, learning lessons about life, sort of coming of age movie. But frankly, as Emma said, for the first hour and a half, I was bored. There was nothing really engaging. I didn't actually care for the characters I was supposed to be caring for. I honestly couldn't be bothered, what happened to them, to be honest. And it should have been, because they're obviously living in a pretty awful situation. And there's lots of poverty and, say, they're taking drugs and all the rest of it. Then suddenly, the last 20 minutes for me, as Emma said, really, really the story perked up, and there was a bit of fun to be had, actually, towards the end with what happens. And I thought, okay, yeah, And as Emma said, if you take out the saggy, baggy middle section of this film and concentrated on just one of the boys living in poverty on an Indian reservation, you've got a really interesting film. You've got a really good idea for a film, but it never came together as a whole. And it was only in the last 20 minutes that I began to get engaged with what was happening on screen. So I agree with Emma wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not going to displace Wind River as the best Indian reservation film?
No.
Or possibly Dancing with Wolves, I'm not
Dancing
sure.
with Wolves.
Modern day. Okay. Marks out of 10, Andy?
5, and I'm being kind, I think.
5. Emma?
Yeah, Andy stole it from me. 5, and I probably think I'm being
5.
kind.
Cheers.
5 and 5. Even I can work the maths out. That gives a Flickering Dreams total of 5, making it a...